waiting cause I'm about to ruin the image and the style that you're used to. I look funny, but yo, I'm making money, see? So yo, world, I hope you're ready for me. Now gather round. I'm the new fool in town, and my sound's laid down by the underground. I drink a bottle of Hennessy you got on your shelf, so just let me introduce myself. My name is Humpty.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Week 10 of The Gut versus the Geek, presented by FantasyLlama.com. Of course, I'm Aaron Vella, also known as The Gut.
Heyo, and you're not ready for me yet.
Alright, party boy, let's calm down here. Let's put that geek hat back on, and let's dive into the analytics from last week.
Well, Week 9 turned out great once again. All the numbers are really starting to refine themselves down to what the players can do per performance. And the only things that stick out to me are the QB1, where 3.53, well, you can't have your one QB throw 7 touchdowns every week. And then also RB1, well, players get hurt.
Good deal, so the numbers look solid. More importantly, what's the wager look like from last week, Geek?
Well, it depends on who you consider the winner there, Gut. The Llama won with 155 points, and you beat me 117 to 98. But I guess in terms with our wager, you won. It's time for me to do the dance.
Man, you are one pathetic loser.
Oh man, I almost forgot about that dance. But seriously now, Geek, let's get down to this week's pick. Who's the Llama taking at quarterback?
The Llama actually went with a Thursday QB this week, and it wasn't RG3 against the Vikings. It was actually Christian Ponder. And since we were recording on a Friday morning, Christian was having a great game until he got injured, so I kind of like the pick.
Unfortunately, I have to agree with you, Geek. Ponder was looking pretty darn solid last night until that injury. But on to my pick this week, I'm going with brother Eli Manning. Going against the Raiders, who got shredded by Nick Foles last week. Eli coming off a bye week. Look for him to go big as the Giants start to turn things around.
Eli Manning sounds like more of a statistical pick than it is a gut pick. I would say you'd pick like Seneca Wallace or something this week with Rodgers being hurt. But either way, obviously I agree with it, and I think it's going to do well for you. But it could be danger. I'm actually going with the older brother, Peyton, this week versus San Diego.
Well, Peyton Manning, that's pretty much all you have to say. Only possible concern is going against his old offensive coordinator down in San Diego. But on to the next pick with running back. What's the Llama saying there?
Beat 'em, Chicago. Matt Forte this week for the Llama against the division rival on the turf of Soldier Field. I like this pick. Way to go, Llama.
Matt Forte. I will never argue with Matt Forte. Being a big Bear fan myself, love the pick. Like to see him go off again here on the Lions. For myself, I'm going Marshawn Lynch. I think the Seahawks have to get back to pounding the ball to help alleviate the stress on Russell Wilson. Even with the injuries in the O-line, look for them to pound the ball in that depleted Atlanta defense.
Well, I'm sticking in a very statistically favorable matchup, and I would say Zach Stacy against the Indianapolis Colts. Zach's used to a dome at home. He's going to a dome with the Colts giving up a lot of yards. I like this pick this week. I think he's going to have a big game.
Zach Stacy, I hate when I have to do this, but I agree with you. The kid's been a stud since he's entered the starting lineup, putting up big numbers. But anyway, enough of agreeing with you. On to the wide receivers. What's the Llama got?
The Llama's heading to San Diego this week, and hopefully a lot of connections from who I have at QB, Peyton, Demaryius Thomas. Division game, off a bye, big game coming.
So the Llama's going with big old DT. Hard to argue with that. You could pick him every game and feel pretty confident in the points he's going to put up. Myself, I'm going another direction with T.Y. Hilton. He is now the established number one in Indy. Look at all the targets that Reggie Wayne had prior to the injury. He's getting them now. I'm going T.Y. Who are you taking, Geek?
I feel like I've been snake bitten at this position. Last week, Jordy Nelson, and then Rodgers gets hurt. I think it would have been a great game. But this week, I feel confident. Antonio Brown from Roethlisberger against this Buffalo secondary that seems to have problems on the road. I'm feeling good, I hope.
Antonio Brown, huh? Not sure really how I feel about that. I can see that Buffalo front four causing a lot of problems for Big Ben. But then again, it is Big Ben. He always gets rid of the ball. Now let's go on to the tight ends here. I have an itching suspicion I'll guess who the llama's taking, but let's get confirmation on that.
Well, I think your suspicion's probably correct. Yep, it's Jimmy Graham, and I do not disagree by any means. Llama has been very good at tight end this year, and with Dallas being the defense at home against New Orleans, Drew's got just one target he likes, and that's Jimmy.
If there's a safer bet in this conversation every week, it's Jimmy Graham being taken by somebody at tight end. I will not argue with that. Myself, I'm going with Martellus Bennett of the Chicago Bears. Cutler coming back off that injury, probably going to hit a lot of short routes. A good safety valve is a 6'6" tight end going up the seam. Who you taking, Geek?
I'm actually going with one of the surprise breakouts of this year, which is Tim Wright at Tampa Bay. Mike Glennon's favorite target and a very favorable matchup with a Miami team that is in disarray, like you stated earlier. I think this is going to be a good day for him.
Timothy Wright, the Battle of Florida that pretty much no one cares about. I won't touch on the incognito stuff. Anyway, on to everybody's least favorite categories, kickers. Kickers. Who's the llama got?
Llama's heading to the desert, looks like. Phoenix, to be exact. And he's going with Jay Feely against the Houston Texans. I think this is going to be a good game where Arizona's defense is going to stop Keenum, whatever his name is, and Jay Feely's going to have quite a bit of opportunities.
So the llama's got Feely. All right, cool. He's a kicker. I have one too. His name's Adam Vinatieri, and he plays in a dome. Who do you got, Geek?
Keep hating on this position, but I'll tell you from a fantasy standpoint, these guys will constantly get you good points when you need them, 9, 10, 15, sometimes more. I'm actually going with Mike Nugent this week, and he's going to put up that 15. I feel it.
Mike Nugent, that's cool. He's your kicker. Anyway, on to defenses. What's the llama got in store this week?
Llama's sticking in the desert again this week, and I don't disagree. I think Keenum, he's got a lot of film on him now, and the Cardinals coming off a bye week. I know Andre Johnson's not having a big game. There's no running game now in Houston, and Kubiak's not there on the sidelines. So Cardinals going to have a big game.
You have to like the llama's pick of the Cardinals with the Texans coming to town minus their head coach, who really is their offensive mind. I like that pick. Myself, I'm going to go with Tennessee. They're playing the Jaguars. Why do you not pick somebody who plays against the Jaguars? Who do you got?
Ooh. Real gutsy pick with the Titans versus the Jaguars. I'm actually going with the Colts this week. I think what's going to happen is Zach Stacy's going to put up some yards, get some TDs, but I still think the Colts are going to end up getting some pick sixes, maybe 1 or 2. Let's move on to the llama locks and the cover dogs. What do you think, Gut? How about you? Start it up.
On to the llama locks for this week. First up, Pittsburgh over Buffalo. Look for them to take advantage of a rusty rookie quarterback. Denver over San Diego. Peyton Manning on a bye week. That's all that needs to be said. Arizona over Houston. There's finally game film on Keenum. Look for them to take advantage in Arizona.
Now to my favorite segment where statistics matter. We're going to give you the winners versus the spread in the cover dogs. If you don't know what winners against the spread mean, don't bother.
And now for our cover dogs this week. First up, look for the Buccaneers to cover the +1 versus the Dolphins. The Dolphins are disarray. I really challenge their focus this week. Secondly, let's look for the Raiders, +9.5 at the New York Giants. Rarely do NFL teams get embarrassed one week and then get embarrassed a second in a row. Look for the Raiders to cover. Well, folks, that'll wrap up Week 10 of The Gut versus the Geek. As always, thank you for watching, as it's presented by FantasyLlama.com. And just remember, score big or go home.
Thank you from the Geek as well. Fantasy football is just for fun, so go out there this weekend. Good luck with your teams. Have fun. I'm out.